Watching this video. Now, to some of you who may not know who I am, well, I'm Daniel Ashweze, a 24-year millionaire day trader, and I've been trading close to 5 years. I have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars entirely through trading, and more to that, I've been able to teach thousands of students to make money trading. Now, my purpose of doing this video is to teach you on how to start trading completely from scratch. I'll show you what to do straight from the beginning, and I'll also take you through the intermediate, and lastly, how you can actually be able to make money. And by the way, I'll also show you on how you can start with as less as $50. Now, without any further ado, let's get started with our course.
Tujja binyumya kedda.
Nedda wano wakulemye mkwano. But good to see you. Someone watching us today morning would love to know your name.
Mu Luganda, mu Luzungu.
Owakwanguira.
Nze Kimbugwe, Bussiness, mu Luzungu bayita Simon. Ndi musajja muzadde, ndi neekolera jange. Ate mbulirira abaana. Ate nyumirwa nnyo okuwabula abantu. I love to advise kids. When I say kids, I don't mean kids as in kids, but anybody who's starting the hustle.
All right.
In simple terms, I'm Kimbugwe Simon, a parent, an entrepreneur, a friend, a father, and a man who believes in the Almighty God.
All right. Simon, I am so glad that you have joined us today this morning. And of course, what we're talking about today is more about events as a business and events planning. Let's look at events as a business. How would you define that as a person?
I can speak about it in the context of Uganda. Not many people think to be a planner, you can make a living. But trust me, you can make a living, a lot of it, because the market is so virgin that many people have not tapped into it. Those that have tapped into it are making a living out of it. When you say planning, what do I mean? Or what do you ask? What do you want me to define? To plan is to think for somebody. And the Ugandan market we have is people like everything on a silver platter. Everything is on a silver platter, that we are so lazy that we have money, or people have money, but are so lazy to go out and source for products, source for venues. So if you're smart about it, you help somebody sit in their home, make the event, whether it's a birthday, it's a wedding, it's an auction, it's products, to do a product activation. There's a lot of money into it. So all I will tell you is planning is
big.
It's like a distribution of awareness into the industry.
All right.
Not many of us know about it, but if you hack it, you make the money out of it.
All right, let's look into business. Let's talk about business now. You as a planner, you wake up and someone would want to do a wedding, or someone has an event. I've seen you've done very many events of the Subi. Is it called Subi or Subaru?
Subafest.
Subafest. What does it take you to do an event?
It's not easy as people think.
Because someone watching would think like you can wake up and do an event in such a space.
No.
You wake up and out of the blue you have, you have a wedding and it will be done there and then.
Events planning is it's a wholesome. It involves budgeting. It involves planning, like like the core subject. You plan, you budget, you know your target market, you know the audience, you know. It's not a one-off thing. Like people wake up, that you wake up, you have a wedding, and you're going to do it. No. If you want a wedding, you need a service provider, you need a venue, you need the budget. First of all, your budget has to sink into the budget of the service. No, the service provider sinks into your budget. You want a wedding, 200 people. How much does it cost? What do you need? But people think you wake up, you smile, and an event is done. No, it's not like that. So you plan, you budget, you get service providers, and you as a person, what do you want? So when you identify as you, the owner of the event, when you identify what you want, because the planner works with you, you tell the planner, I want A, B, C, D. The moment you identify what you want, then it's easy for the planner to deliver.
And at times, don't you get some clients that are big-headed? They want A, and then for you, you think that B would be good for them. What would you do in that scenario?
Let me use the Ugandan market. As Ugandans, we want more, but we want to pay less. Somebody wants an event planned, let's say, worth 500 million, but the person tells you have 100 million. You must have the etiquette and the professionalism to handle a client or customer. You must be subtle, you must be very polite, you must be understanding, and trust me, you must be patient. Because Ugandan clients are hard to deal with.
When you talk about patience, someone watching out there would like to know, how would you term the word patient? How long would it take you? As you've said, the clients can be a problem. And yeah, I've seen, I think I've attended some of Subafest that you have organized, and see, like, you know, from the time you come in, you're walking, you're sweating, and other people want this, you want good for this. Someone, when we talk about patient, what does it take someone to be patient as a business, as an events planner?
I'll use a simple word, and I'm very sure as I look into this camera, most Ugandans speak the business language, that's Luganda. Obugumikiriza, humility. Trust me when I tell you, the hardest person to deal with is the owner of an event. Because they think they're paying you more than you're delivering.
Yet you're putting in more than they expect.
You know, somebody tells you, you know, Simon, I'm going to pay 100 million.
But does it come?
Trust me, the margins are very small. The margins are very small. Margins are very small. But I can also speak from the other side of the coin. As an events planner, you must build your repertoire. You must build your brand, whereby you stop explaining yourself. When people appreciate what you do, they will play the game they want it to be played. But when you're new in the market, you customers will bully anybody. Because they'll be like, Guani, who are you? Why am I paying you 100 million?
Why are you telling me to do this?
Exactly. And more often than not, us as customers, I can speak on both sides, as a customer and as an events planner. As a customer, more often than not, we don't know what we want. Trust me, we don't. But we think we do.
So you mean a person out there who is organizing events, some of them, they really do not know what they want?
I think they do.
Okay.
I think they do not know what they want.
Why would you say, why would you talk in that way? Because as a planner, don't you think it's quite...
it may sound derogative and disrespectful to clients, but most of us are living off social media.
When we say something, I want a wedding that looks like exactly this,
I see Rihanna do a birthday party.
It's exactly what I want. Then I'll come to you as a plan.
But you're not willing to pay the money. Now, convincing a person that what Rihanna did costs this much, you can pay this much just to have a resemblance of what Rihanna did. Like, Sagara, you know, and they're very abusive. Very abusive. So you must, just like in life, events planning or business, it's about life. You must grow into it. It's about maturity. That's why most young entrepreneurs have gotten out of business, because they cannot take to be insulted. You know, like a friend of mine says, you are so demeaned.
Yeah, of course. I hear you.
So it takes a lot of maturity.
Yes, true.
And you must be comfortable within your skin to know what you're doing. You can stand your ground and say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this.
As an event planner, you do own a place called the Barbecue.
The Forest.
The Forest.
Yeah. It's in Kira.
Okay, and I've been to your place. It's quite beautiful and it has the trees. Now, if someone walks to you and tells you, I want my wedding to be here, but I don't want these trees to be there, you as a planner, what would you do? Because I believe these things happen to you.
Trust me, they do. Like I said, my host, Sheila, as she said, we have a place in Kira called the Forest Barbecue Fusion Gardens in Kira, just about 400 meters off the roundabout along Kasangati Road. Like she said, it's beautiful, but customers have demands that you cannot meet. But do you believe in your product? The most important thing, do you believe in your product as a service provider? If you believe in your product, then no customer is going to walk up to you and say, cut off this, do this. That's why most service providers walk away. If you're good at what you do, you see, like say, you know, Sheila, I'm sorry, for me to deliver what you want, this is my budget. If you can't meet my budget, I'm sorry, I'm going to walk away.
Would you
walk away? But if you're desperate, yes, I can. I would walk away.
What do you think the client would feel if you did that to them? Would it be the right thing to do?
If I believe in my brand, I believe in my product, I believe in my service. And this, I'm going to look in this camera and tell all service providers, believe in what you deliver. Believe in your product, believe in your brand. Do not take less of what you stand for. Because trust me, your brand is on them, on should I say, on the wall. If your budget is 100 million and somebody tells you, I'm giving you 30 million, what does that mean?
Actually, you've talked about something that I was actually about to ask you. What in the context of the budget, I would come to you, or I need a wedding, and I tell you, I have 50 million, and I say, my wedding, I want it to be as white as snow. And I tell you, the food should be this and this. What budget, me as a person, me who has a wedding that is coming up, and I've told you that I want it as white as snow, would the 50 million be enough for me to do that kind? Do the clients look at their budgets, or they just come and talk anyhowly?
If you walk to me and mention just, if you run by me what you've just said, I'd be very appreciative as a planner, because you're honest. Then you are giving me the leeway to have a conversation with you. But more often than not, customers come and want to impose on the planners this is my money and this is what I want, and they're not willing to listen. But if I take your approach and say, Simon, I have 50 million. I want A, B, C, D. You are allowing me to have a conversation with you. A conversation. And the moment you can converse with somebody, the chances of you delivering what they want are higher than somebody who comes and dictates. I have 50 million, I want A, B, C, D. You try to tell me, no, your 50 million cannot deliver what you want. Like I said a few minutes ago, I mentioned you must have a lot of humility. You must have a lot of professionalism. You must have a lot of patience for you to break the ice with this client. When I tell you clients are the hardest people to deal with, they want more for less.
Let's look at the food industry, and since it's also in what we're talking about events and planning. Someone would come to you as a planner and ask you, I want this kind of food. And you tell the person, maybe this kind of food will not work. And the person insists. In that scenario, do you people test the food that you deliver on weddings or on events that you plan?
There's no way. For example, if I'm going to do a wedding for you, I chance to be own a bakery. So what we do, we ask customers to come and do a test
of the food,
of the cake, of the food. If you have tested my food at an event that I've catered for, then you have an idea of what I'm delivering. But if you have been recommended, I'll ask you, what would you want for your wedding? Of course, if you're serving, let's say, 500 people, I'm not going to do a test of 500, a meal of 500 people. I'll just give you a sample. For a cake, I'll just do small loaves. Say, hey, Sheila, Jambu, you come.
But do they come? Some of them...
No, trust me, they do. Because now most Ugandans are appreciating value for money. We have walked away from events. We have walked away. It's not easy. Somebody out there watching will be like, that guy is arrogant. But my brand is on the line. And Ugandans have also learned not to take their brand for granted. More in the yesteryears, we used to take money, because everything in Uganda is about money. So somebody will give you 2 million, but actually that cake could be for 5 million. But because you're desperate for money, you take and you don't deliver what you wanted to deliver. And your brand is ridiculed. It's tarnished. It's spoken ill of. Would I want that as Simon? No. Would I want Sheila to have that? No. So I talk to other people in the industry, because the industry of planning in Uganda is still virgin. Still virgin. But in Uganda, we are scared, and we are scared to speak to our customers.
Yeah, because we think that they may walk away. Yeah,
we have the adage of customer is king. Trust me, it doesn't work like that. It's not always that the customer is king. A customer can be messed up. But sometimes how you deliver that feedback to a customer will either earn you respect,
or will not
earn you a
you
business deal, or they will break away from you. Yeah.
All right, you're still watching Year 24, and of course we are talking about events planning as a business, and we're looking at very many things. In this, we're looking at service providers, we're looking at a place where you would love to have an event from, and of course we are looking at what would hinder your event, or what would the planner do for you in case that you have an event. Well, Mr. Simon, let's look at this rainy season that we are in. Someone walks up to you and tells you that, I would want my event to be outdoor, and then you insist and tell them, due to the rains that we do have, I think it would be better to be indoor. In that scenario, you as a planner, would you go with what the client wants, or you would go of what you think is right for you to do?
Sheila, I'll go back from my earlier submission. Like I said, you must believe in what you do.
Would you walk away from that kind of a person?
Like I've said, there are two scenarios. You could be desperate for money and take it and have your brand spoiled, or you stand your ground and this customer, and ladies and gentlemen, I want all people who are in events and service delivery, as someone I'll bring you a business, but trust me, Simon is not a big client. Simon is a small fish in the pond. The people who have come to partake of Simon's service are bigger than the Simon. If you deliver good service, you have an automatic market. You don't even need to invest money to market your brand. But also, if you do not deliver, you don't need to market to tarnish your name. You've already done it, because it's hands-on. You have delivered an event. You didn't, and most of it, the clients will tell you,
Nenga wamugambye naye n'agamba anze njagala kibeere wano.
So Ngamba, I talk to every service provider. Believe in your brand. As Ugandans, we need to learn to stand our ground. Let's not be taken by the money. The quick buck is good, but in the long run, it's not. So to answer your question, if it were me, or if somebody asks for my opinion or sought my opinion, I would tell them, do not. Stand your ground, because at the end of the day, it's your brand out there. It's your name out there. What do you want for your brand? Are you looking for that 1 million that will cost you 10 million?
Or are you looking for a beautiful event?
And trust me, over time, I have learned, not only through me, but even through my colleagues, when you stand your ground and deliver a good product, the customer comes back and says, thank you for standing your ground. But people who are coming into the industry,
yes, we want money.
Back.
We want money quickly.
It's truly bad.
Well, you can follow this conversation on X, which is at U24, and also we are live on our YouTube channel, which is at U24 Television, and also you can follow us on Facebook. Now, of course, we are looking at how events planning stays ahead of trends, or how is events important. Well, Simon, before we go into a very short break, I would want to ask you this question: what would you call a successful event?
I can categorize it in 2-3 ways. Number one, have you delivered the client's expectations? For me, that's the most important. Is the client satisfied? If the client is satisfied, that's a good to go. But at the end of the day, you as a service provider, have you delivered on what your professionalism seeks of you? But the most important thing, it's not even about the service provider, not even the customer, but the guests that have been invited. What's their feedback? What's their feedback? I tell people who are just entering the industry, sometimes it's not about making a profit.
It's about delivery.
Yeah. Sometimes you can work within the margins, as long as you make sure you've paid your workers, you've paid for the ingredients, for example, for a cake. There you know you're doing good. For me to have a successful event, the consumer must have a smile as wide as, should I say, a watermelon? Cocoa melon.
Cocoa melon.
Yeah. I'd want a customer to have a smile as wide as a cocoa melon. For me, I would feel I'm satisfied.
You'd feel that the event has been a successful event.
As long as I have positive feedback from the consumers. And the consumer is not the customer, by the way. Because the customer is holding or carrying out an event for their guests. We should just note that it's not about Sheila's wedding, it's about Sheila's invites. As long as Sheila's invites are okay and satisfied, then you have a mileage towards what, because Sheila inviting 100 people, the chances are in those 100, she has her people who are going to do checks and balances.
Yes.
So the moment you knock that, you're good to go.
Well, to a person watching us right now, would love to know, what event tools do you use as an event planner? Are there tools that you use when you're setting up an event?
Yeah.
Okay, someone watching would want to know them.
The biggest tool is budgeting.
That's the number one.
It's the ultimate. The moment you hack the budget, you're good to go, because everything is about pluses and minuses. It's a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. It does not make sense for me to come to you when you as a person who wants my service, you don't even know your budget. So we must sit down and budget. Now, when I know what your budget is, it helps me anchor myself into my passion to deliver what you want. For me, that's the biggest tool, the budget. Because the budget control, just like any economy. Because at that moment, your event is an economy. And what drives it is the finances. What drives the finances is a budget. So it makes no sense for me not to have a budget, and I want to help you. It makes no sense for me to have a conversation with you when you also don't know what you want to spend towards your event. So for me, the number one tool is the budget.
Is there any other tool apart from the budget?
What's your target market? Because, for example, my passion could be music promotion, but I've never done a Rolex promotion. I've never done, you've heard of Bachiga Nation.
Nations, yes, yes.
I don't know about the Bachiga. So I need to know my audience. The budget, the audience, what are you targeting? So when I know what I'm targeting and I know my budget, then trust me, I could have an awesome event. So for me, if you ask me, it's your budget, but what's your tag? Your budget is
your target
towards
audience.
what? What's
Yes,
your target market? What's your audience like? And what is the taste and preference of the people you're targeting? That's why people nowadays, if you notice in Uganda, people have started doing culture
events.
Somebody says, I'm an Acholi.
It should be strictly.
What's the alcohol of Acholi? What's the food of Acholi? What's the dress code of Acholi? What's the footwear? The moment you hack that, you're going to have a successful event. Somebody says, Bachiga, what do they want? The moment you hack that, you're harnessing your brain around their tastes and preferences. You're good to go. There's no rocket science. There's nothing magical about it.
So these people that we see that make it overboard, they just do not know what they're doing.
I'll tell you, as at the forest in Kira, I started. It was last year on the 25th of August.
Yes.
The people of Subaru came to us with my partners. We were excited. I want you to quote the word excited.
In quotes, yes, true.
You have an event, somebody has reached out to you, you're looking at money. You get lost in that word excited. You've not done the due diligence, you've not studied your market, you don't even the target audience that has come to you, you don't know of what their tastes and preferences are.
But you're excited because you've seen them
you've gotten a gig.
A gig, yes.
Jesus Christ. Tom Mayanja, people call him the myth.
Yes.
They call him Tom Mayanja.
Yes.
Now Tom comes and tells me, Simon, never don't be the chivulu cha hip hop. But I've never held a concert for him. But because it's a myth, I'm excited. Navi, I'm excited. Janelle, Bobby Wine, I'm excited. But I have not done the due diligence. When you're excited, it's not even about events, it's about life. Don't allow excitement to drive your business acumen, drive your big business understanding, drive your business projections. Because when you use excitement, in simple terms, ogenda kutomera. But like any human being, when you come to me and you give me a gig, I'm going to be excited. I'll borrow, do everything, and go overboard. Excitement.
All right, we're going to start from there because I think someone watching would love to know exactly what happened or how did you work around the clock to make sure it was a successful event. Well, you are still watching U24, and of course we are talking about planning as or events as planning as a business. And you can follow this conversation on our X, which is the former Twitter, which is at U24TV UG. You can follow us you can also follow us on YouTube, which is at U24 Television UG. But also we're on different platforms, which is Facebook, Instagram, and so many others. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll be winding up about the events and planning, and he will be telling us exactly what happened when they told him that he had a gig. Was it successful? Did he do it as he had wanted to do? Were the people that he was organizing this event for happy? Well, let's go for a short music break. When we come back, we'll be talking more about planning and events as a business in Uganda.
Don't miss on U24.
Now, to be honest with you, we are currently living in the best time to ever get rich online. And well, I assume that's why you're watching this video. Now, to some of you who may not know who I am, well, I'm Daniel Ashweze, a 24-year millionaire day trader, and I've been trading close to 5 years. I have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars entirely through trading. And more to that, I've been able to teach thousands of students to make money trading. Now, my purpose of doing this video is to teach you on how to start trading completely from scratch. I'll show you what to do straight from the beginning, and I'll also take you through the intermediate, and lastly, how you can actually be able to make money. And by the way, I'll also show you on how you can start with as less as $50. Now, without any further ado, let's get started with our course.
Don't miss.
Welcome back from that short musical break, and of course we are looking at events and planning as a business in Uganda. And with me, I'm glad that I am joined with a gentleman who has done events, who has done very many events, including those of Superfest. And when we went into a musical break, he was telling us about the event that he had, and of course this event, he was still telling us it was his first time gig, and he looked at it as something that he wished for, and he clapped his hands. As he has said before, that excitement in quotes, he talked about the word excitement was killing him. But then, and he told us that in this career, one thing that you have to do is to be patient. You have to be patient, you have to know your business, you have to know your budget, and very many other things. So let's talk about the event that he has. Was it successful? Mr. Simon Chimbogwe, you talked about the Subifest. So these guys came to you as we're winding up. How was the event? Did they enjoy the event?
If I say they didn't enjoy, I'd be lying to you. But if I tell you, did we realize our expectations, I would also be lying to you. So
it was in between.
It's a catch-21. in more often than not, as service providers, we have been caught in a maze of exciting the customer.
Forgetting your role.
Exactly. And as I speak this to young people, when I say young, it's not about age. People who are trying to join the industry of events planning. And trust me when I tell you, events planning has money. It has money.
Is it as easier as people think?
No, it's not. The reason is simple. We have failed as events planners to understand the customer and to get excited about the customer. Customers promise heaven
And earth.
and earth, but tell them to pay that money. They don't. They don't pay it. Somebody tell you, I saw an event in Munyonyo, I saw an event in Kabale, I saw an event in Guru, I want like that. You take your time and do research, and events planners need to learn to do research.
Yes, true.
Research. What does your client want? What your client is telling you, ABCD. What did that service provider go through to deliver that event? But we don't. Like I told you, we get excited.
And forget about the role that has been given to you.
My God. Let me use this analogy. You're a kid. I can even go ahead and say not a kid. You've been in the village your whole life. And jump onto a global. I'm doing marketing for them, by the way. They should pay me. You jump on a global bus. You come into Kampala. And you reach and see the traffic in Kampala, but you've never seen it in your village. How would you be? You'd be so excited.
Yes, the excitement would be a problem.
I think you've had stories of whereby a person is in a taxi park and they've made them buy a toy phone.
Oh yes, these people that pass with balloons when you have a kid, your budget is not about to buy that toy, but the man will at least come and give this.
The person excites you. And the biggest challenge we have as events planners and businesses is excitement. Tusanyuka mangu. And we're not focused on the logistics, on the finances. Trust me when I tell you, but over time, it is school fees paid. It is school fees paid. So can you excite me about an event now? No.
No, because you've been there.
People promise heaven and earth.
And they never deliver.
They don't know how much you procure a bunch of matoke in the market.
For
what
them,
you go through to prepare that bunch of matoke. And somebody comes and tells you, I'm going to give you 5,000 shillings. Yet your budget was 10. How do you handle that? You must have a lot of humility. You must be humble enough to know who you're dealing with. So when I tell you that Superfest, for me it was one of the best lessons that I've learned in my life. The best.
That you can now do an event and you feel like, yes, you have done an event.
Somebody will come driving a Range Rover.
But the
can
money.
you pay that money? Hell no.
Please, these are not my words.
Ataja no akusingo wa boda.
These are words of Mr. Simon Chimbukwe. Tobakubye nnyo.
Nodda. Kankusese bana Uganda. Omuntu ajja mu ttaayi yasinga obuyaayi. Byogera sibirumamu. Naye omusajja wa abeera mu kiseka market avuga boda amanyi value ya ssente. Kyobola nti omusajja agamba nti omuvuzi omututte wali you've ridden me on your bike and I want to pay you 1K. But this guy is paying 3,000 shillings for a liter of fuel. But you don't appreciate what he does. So you're going to ridicule his business. You know? A border person, a market vendor will appreciate their event than somebody who's a CEO in a bank, a top city surveyor, a top city lawyer, because they have no respect for what you do. They think they're doing you a favor. And And I'm telling all service providers, planners, never allow to feel like somebody's doing you a favor by giving you a gig. That's what I talked about in the beginning.
Yes, true.
Believe in yourself, believe in your professionalism, just know what you're doing. But when somebody comes with a mock ninga kuyamba,
True.
no.
All right, when you look into our cameras today, to our viewers out there, what will be your last remarks? And maybe where would we find you, just in case that we needed to come and see the forest? That's what you said, yes.
My dear colleague, my friend, as a service provider, as a planner of events, just be confident of what you do. Believe in what your deliverables are. It's not, sometimes money is not the end goal, because you'll get that money, but at the end of the day, when you're into the journey, you realize that the fuel is not enough. What are you going to do? You're not going to deliver. You're going to do shortcuts. Don't allow yourself to do shortcuts. Stand your ground. Believe in yourself. I know the economy is bad. Everybody wants that quick buck. But do you believe in your brand? If you believe in your brand, my dear brother and sister, don't take anything less. Don't. Stand your ground. As much as somebody out there will be like, Omsajo ye panka. But trust me, say panka. And so the school fees, I've paid my fair share of fees in this industry. Don't allow yourself, stand your ground. If you do your math and it doesn't work out, walk away from that deal. And trust me, they will go to a cheaper person, and the chances are, on a scale of 1 to 10, 9 people will come back and tell you, I wish I'd gone with you. Craft your skill, believe in yourself. Don't go for the quick buck. I'm Chimugo Matovu, Simon, Tusangibwa Chida, the Forest Barbecue Fusion Gardens, 400 meters from Kira Roundabout, along Kasangati Road. The space is so big, by the time you hold a Superfest that can have a parking of over 500 cars, that means we have the capacity to hold a wedding, a birthday, an activation of all sorts. Reach out, 772-872586, 702-583-662, 773-379-913.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chimbwe Simon. I hope what you have said or what you've talked to the viewers have picked a leaf for the young people out there who would love to join the business. I think they've picked a leaf from you, and we hope they will go there knowing what they're going for.
Sorry I'm going to say this to the young people. It's never too late to start. It's never too late to start. You do not need to go to school. Get an events planner. Start from somewhere. As young people, we always want to start big. Get somebody who's been in the industry. You may not even need to earn a cent. Go there, craft your skill, learn what does Balam do? What does Katie do? What does these global events planners do? Learn your craft. Be humble enough. Be humble enough. I tell the young people as I watch myself grow up and I look in this camera, young people, be humble enough, have a lot of humility. Know where you're coming from and have a vision where you're going to. Sheila, trust me. Even today as you host me on your show today, tomorrow you could be the best events planner. Just believe in yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Simon. Well, we do come to the end of this beautiful show. Thank you so much for being part of this show. If you have missed this conversation, you can still go up and follow it until our YouTube channel, which is at U24 Television UG. This program still there, and it's going to still continue. And of course, the conversation will be there. You can go and pick a leaf, and never know, you'll be the best person, as Mr. Chimbugwe Simon has said. Well, I think he needs to invite me to go to the forest. Please. I need to go and check it out one more time. I've been there once. I need to come back again.
Are we allowed to talk about the we have the best ribs in town. Please come to the forest.
And the goat's meat.
Come enjoy the nyama choma, the goat's meat, the chicken, the pork.
So what am I eating today?
But you're going to pay?
Oh no, I'm
a rib. Jango yorubidizi. Renkana host two of one.
Well, this man here is teasing me. Well, Mr. Simon, you have made this show a lovely one. Thank you so much, people, for watching, and thank you so much for being part of our show. Yes, I am going to go out and check out the forest today, but they've told me that I have to pay, so I don't. The service providers. Anyway, that's his job. But I will see you again next week, same time. We'll be doing this. Have yourself a very lovely morning or afternoon or day. Happy Easter, and just in case you're coming to town, carry a jacket, because I think the weather is misbehaving. So make sure you have a jacket and an umbrella just in case you're coming to town. Have yourself a very lovely